Want to bring in retired LAPD Police Sergeant Cheryl Dorsey, along with Ron Johnson, who served as captain of the Missouri State Highway Patrol. Captain Johnson, I'm going to start with you. As a former supervisor, what do you make of how the Louisiana State Police have handled this?
Not good at all, not professional at all, not being transparent, but definitely not the administrators. Yeah, we're definitely focusing our officers on the scene, but those administrators, those leaders in that department have failed that department, failed that community, and failed us as citizens across America.
Sergeant Dorsey, I'm just a citizen, a layman. I can't think of any ethical explanation for what we saw in this video or how the police have responded. Can you?
There is none. And listen, the administrators over there on the state troopers department know that the murder of Ronald Greene was problematic from the start. And I find it interesting that one of the officers involved was also involved in a solo car traffic collision. Now, I'm not saying that he committed suicide, but I find it interesting that it was so close in proximity to the particular incident. And it seems to me also that the coroner is complicit because they, in their report, speak to a traffic collision that we know didn't occur. And so now we get ready for them to dirty up Mr. Greene and talk about the cocaine that was in his system as if that were the real reason. He begged for the officers to show him some humanity, and they had none.
Captain Johnson, the Justice Department has launched a federal investigation into Greene's death. Is that the proper course of action, do you think?
That is a proper course of action. And this is one of those cases that the State Patrol should have had someone from the start come in and look into this matter. But where it is now is the best outcome that we can hope for at this point for the family and for the community.
Sergeant Dorsey, you were LAPD during the Rodney King days 30 years ago. That's when, of course, for the kids out there who don't remember, an amateur photographer captured police beating Rodney King with a camcorder. Now police know that they have body cameras on and their body cameras could record their actions, and yet we still see these cases. I mean, how do you explain that? How do you rationalize that? Do they not think that their behavior is bad?
Well, I think what happens a lot of times is that officers get tunnel vision, and I know that this is a common practice, having spent 20 years in patrol, that at the end of a police pursuit, whether it's a vehicle or foot pursuit, officers have a tendency to want to punish people for running. And we hear some of that in the words that are being spoken to Mr. Greene. You know, why did you run? It was just a little speeding. And so now that you did, we're going to punish you. And we see an officer place his foot on his back after he's already in handcuffs. There's no reason for any additional use of force at that point, but to punish him because he ran.
And Captain Johnson, help us understand, just as civilians here, what's going through the minds of police officers when they're in a situation like this. Not that you've ever done it, but that you might have some insight into why they think they need to punish somebody for trying to run away from them. I mean, I think most people think it's kind of a small crime, speeding, and he tried to get away. Okay, that's not good, but certainly that doesn't mean that the person should be beaten and certainly not killed.
Well, wearing that badge is a privilege. It's not giving you this extreme power over those that we serve. And I think some officers see this as power, and they do see that you didn't do what I said, and so I'm going to show you that I have power over you. And that is not what policing is, and that's not what policing should be. But that's definitely what we saw in this instance here. And you're right, it was just speeding. The officer says that. And so I think people think that just because we put cameras on policing, that is going to change. We have to have training and other things have to go, because the behavior that someone has, they'll forget about that camera and we'll see their true behavior. And that's what we saw in this video.
You're right. And Sergeant, Dorsey, if passed, the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act would require body cams for federal law enforcement, but there is not a national mandate for state and local police. Do you think there should be one?
Well, it doesn't matter. I mean, have a body cam or not, because the bottom line is there needs to be some accountability. There needs to be a consequence for these officers who act in a way that's contrary to their training, that's commiserate with what it is that they're doing. And listen, this isn't the first time that we've seen an officer take a victory lap after they put hands on somebody, as we saw this officer here where he celebrated. I beat the bleep, bleep, bleep out of this guy. We heard the same thing with Jacob Blake when the officer shot him in the back. Got him. So this is inherent to what these officers do.
Sergeant Cheryl Dorsey, Captain Ron Johnson, proof that there are lots of good officers out there. Thanks to both of you. We appreciate it. Coming up next,